Good day, everyone. My name is Maria LMP Onyot of BSHM3A. Today, I will be presenting the Chapter 2 of which is the Philippine Constitution. This topic is crucial as it provides the legal foundation for governance and protection of our rights as the citizens. More importantly, in the context of tourism, travel, and hospitality, understanding the Constitution will help us ensure that both businesses and travelers operate within the bounds of the law. So now let's explore the topic in detail. But before we delve into the details, let's first establish our learning objectives. So by the end of this discussion, we aim to identify key provisions in the Philippine Constitution that are relevant to tourism and travel. Second is to understand the rights of travelers and businesses in the tourism and hospitality industry. Third is to learn how to conduct legal research related to the industry. These objectives will guide our discussion and ensure that we fully grasp the importance of constitutional law in tourism. So before I forget, here's the topic outline for this chapter. We will tackle here the Article 3 Bill of Rights. Second is the Article 12, the National Economy and Patrimony. And lastly is the laws and the application of laws and the discussion of laws and the legal opinions. Okay, now let's understand what is Constitution. So the Philippine Constitution is often referred to as the fundamental law of the land. This means that it serves as the supreme legal framework that dictates how the government operates and how laws are created and implemented. All other laws must align with the Constitution, ensuring consistency in governance. In simple terms, it acts as a rule book that protects citizens' rights while ensuring that the government functions effectively. For industries like tourism and hospitality, understanding the Constitution ensures that businesses operate legally and that the rights of both service providers and consumers are safeguarded. In the context of tourism, certain constitutional provisions deserve special attention. Two of the most important ones are Article 3, the Bill of Rights, which guarantees fundamental freedoms and protections for all individuals. This includes rights related to life, liberty, property, and due process. The second one is the Article 12, National Economy and Patrimony, which outlines policies in economic development, business ownership, and regulation of industries including tourism. These provisions help shape policies that impact both local and international tourism operations in the Philippines. One of the most significant provisions in the Constitution is the Article 3, Section 1, which states that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. This means that every individual, regardless of status, has the right to be treated fairly under the law. In tourism and hospitality, this provision ensures that businesses operate ethically and that travelers, whether local or foreign, are protected against discrimination and unjust treatment. Under the Constitution, the term life, of which a person may not be deprived without due process, means more than animal existence. With the emphasis on social and economic rights at present, life includes at the very least the right to a decent living. When the Constitution guarantees the right to life, it does not refer to mere survival. It extends the right to a dignified existence. This includes access to proper food, shelter, education, and employment. For example, in the hospitality industry, workers have the right to fair wages and safe working conditions. Likewise, businesses must comply with health and safety regulations to protect tourists and employees. Meanwhile, the term liberty, as defined by the Constitution, ensures that individuals can freely make choice regarding their livelihood, business, and personal affairs, provided these are within the bounds of the law. For instance, a hotel owner has the liberty to set up a business and create employment opportunities, but this liberty must align with labor laws, zoning regulations, and business permits. Continuation to the Article 3, Section 1. The term property is defined as anything which is or may be the object of appropriation. Anything which has money value and which is supposed to be within the commerce of man is embraced in the term property. The right to earn one's daily wage and the right to engage in business are likewise property. Property is not limited to land and physical assets. In legal terms, it includes any object that has value and is within the commerce of man again. So for tourism professionals, this means that their right to operate businesses, enter contracts, and earn wages are protected under the constitutional law. However, this right is also subject to regulations such as taxation and consumer protection laws. And we also have here the equal protection of the law, which means persons similarly situated should be similarly treated. There should be no favoritism. The benefits of membership in a state as well as the burdens should be distributed in equal measure. Uniformity of treatment should be the rule, and equal protection means that the law must apply fairly to all individuals. And in the tourism industry, this principle ensures that all businesses, whether big or small, are given the same opportunities and obligations. For example, government regulations on travel businesses should not favor multinational hotel chains over small local inns. Likewise, tourists should be given equal rights regardless of the nationality, race, or gender. We also have here the due process of law. It is a law which hears before it condemns, which proceeds upon inquiry and renders judgment after trial. And the due process of law does not necessarily mean a judicial proceeding in the regular courts. The guarantee of due process viewed in its procedural aspect requires no particular form of procedure. It implies due notice to the individual of the proceedings. It is an opportunity to defend himself and the problem of the propriety of the deprivations under the circumstances presented. It must be resolved in a manner consistent with essential fairness. It means essentially a fair and impartial trial and reasonable opportunity for the preparation of the defense. Due process ensures that no one is punished arbitrarily. In legal disputes, whether involving travelers, hotel owners, or tourism workers, everyone has the right to be heard and present their case before an impartial judge. So this is the essential requirements of procedural due process in courts, and these are as follows. First, there must be a court of tribunal clothed with judicial power to hear and determine the matter before it. Second, jurisdiction must be lawfully acquired over the person of the defendant or over the property which is the subject of the proceedings. Third is the defendant must be given an opportunity to be heard. And lastly, judgment must be rendered upon lawful hearing. For example, if a tourist is wrongfully detained due to misunderstanding, they must be given the opportunity to explain their side before any legal action is taken. Application of the law. So this is the case. Congressman Peter Genuino, a Filipino citizen, is accused of tax evasion and drug trafficking in the USA. He resides in the Philippines to pursue his businesses and political career. The U.S. government requested his extradition, but Genuino, through the Philippine government, demanded his extradition papers to file an opposition in Philippine courts before extradition. The Philippine government, with the U.S. concurrence, refused to provide the papers. So the legal question now is Congressman Genuino deprived of his right to due process? And the legal opinion is no. The PD number 1069 prescribing the procedure for the extradition of persons who have committed crimes in a foreign country, implementing that RP-US extradition treaty, dictates when an extraditee receives extradition documents after filing the petition. So the law doesn't grant a right to notice and hearing during the evaluation stage of the extradition process. A different interpretation could allow the extraditee to flee during the investigation. In many instances, communication and correspondences are inevitable in the tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. Because of its daily use, it is important to understand what are the laws may be applied. So discussion of the law. So the forms of correspondence and communication that are covered in this provision includes letters, telegrams, telephone calls, messages, and the like. Republic Act number 4200, otherwise known as the Anti-Wiretapping Law, provides penalties for specific violations of the privacy of communication. Under Section 3 of the Act, the court will authorize wiretaps in certain crimes, such as treason, espionage, provoking war and disloyalty in case of war, piracy in the high seas, rebellion, sedition, and kidnapping and other offenses against national security. Any evidence obtained in violation of the above shall be considered fruit from the poisonous tree, and this shall not be admitted as evidence in any administrative or criminal proceeding. And now let's tackle about the national economy and patrimony. It is important to be informed of some of the constitutional provisions on national economy and patrimony because some are applicable also to tourism, such as the Section 10, that is the Congress shall, upon recommendation of the Economic and Planning Agency, when the national interest dictates, reserve to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens, or such higher percentage as Congress may prescribe, certain areas of investments. In the grant of rights, privileges, and concessions covering national economy and patrimony, the state shall give preferences to qualified Filipinos. Also, the state shall regulate and exercise authority over foreign investments within its national jurisdiction and in accordance with its national goals and priorities. So, discussion of the law. The nationalization of the certain businesses in the Philippines as upheld in Ichong v. Hernandez, 1957, aligns with the constitutional goal of protecting national economy and patrimony without violating the Equal Protection Clause. Patrimony encompasses not only natural resources, but also cultural heritage and intellectual advancements in arts and sciences. The term qualified Filipinos refers to competent citizens who can contribute to the common good. However, this does not justify favoritism toward inefficient Filipino entities, as economic privileges should be granted based on merit. When equally qualified candidates, one Filipino and one foreigner must compete for economic opportunities. The Filipino must be given priority, and this discussion highlights the legal basis for prioritizing Filipino ownership in businesses linked to national economy and patrimony. The ruling in Ichong v. Hernandez established that Filipinization does not violate the principle of equal protection, reinforcing the nation's right to regulate economic activities. Moreover, the definition of patrimony extends beyond physical resources to include intellectual and cultural contributions, emphasizing holistic national development. The concept of qualified Filipinos ensures that economic advantages are given to competent and efficient citizens rather than blindly favoring all Filipinos. This prevents inefficiency and economic decline while still maintaining the national preference. The law balances economic nationalism with practical meritocracy, ensuring that resources and opportunities benefit the country. Here another application of the law, and this is the case. So, there's a bidding process for the sale of Manila Hotel's majority shares. A Malaysian corporation submitted the highest bid. However, instead of awarding the sale to the foreign entity, it was granted to a Filipino corporation. The decision was justified based on the Article 12, Section 10 of the 1987 Constitution, which prioritizes qualified Filipinos in matters involving national patrimony. The Supreme Court case Manila Prince Hotel v. GSIS 1997 emphasized that Manila Hotel is more than just a business. It is a historical and cultural landmark deeply tied to Philippine heritage. It has been a witness to significant national events, from political conventions to war-related incidents. Because of this, it was deemed part of the nation's patrimony, making it essential for Filipinos to retain control over its ownership. This case reinforced the constitutional mandate of Filipinization, ensuring that businesses tied to national identity remain under Filipino control. Many multinational corporations want to invest in the Philippine tourism, travel, and hospitality industry. It is important to study to what extent and how they can invest. So the law regulates foreign investments in the Philippine tourism, travel, and hospitality sectors, especially when they involve industries critical to national interest. Under Section 11 of Article 12 of the 1987 Constitution, public utility franchises are restricted to Filipino citizens or corporations where at least 60% of the capital is Filipino-owned. This restriction ensures that essential industries remain under Filipino control to safeguard national interests and economic sovereignty. Additionally, franchises are not permanent and can be modified or revoked by Congress if deemed necessary for public welfare. This provision allows the government to adjust regulations in response to national needs, while foreign investors are allowed to invest and participate in the management of public utilities. Their influence is limited to their capital share. Furthermore, all executive and managerial positions must be held by Filipino citizens, ensuring that the key decision making remains in the hands of the locals. So, that's all for our topic of the chapter 2 about the Philippine Constitution. I hope you learned something and thank you for listening. Again, my name is Maria LNP Onyot of BSHM 3A and God bless.